Hey guys, this is Joe with REALISTnews.net. This is gonna be a quick video, but my next video I will be doing immediately after this is going to be something very interesting. We all know the Federal Reserve had to come clean on where they sent some of that trillions and trillions of dollars, which most of it went overseas. And it turns out that two Wall Street executives' wives got a $220 million, pretty much 0% interest rate loan. Personal loan from the Fed at 0% interest practically. If I gave you $220 million, do you think you might be able to invest it even for 1 or 2 or 3% and not walk away with a few $1,000,000 in your pocket over a 2-year period or whatever? You gotta be kidding me. That's my next video. This video is going to be on the United States deficit. I did a video, I think it was in March of 2010 or around there, back when Dr. Doom didn't have hardly any subscribers, but I was still preaching, of course, to anyone who was listening. And I talked about, I think, the IRS, how I had some sheets from the IRS, some spreadsheets, that showed how much revenue was collected from businesses and stuff from 2007, 2008, and 2009, and how once it hit 2009, it was just like getting terrible. So, anyways, I talked about a few of these things. So, the deficit in approximately 1970, 1971 was $1 trillion. We hit the United States' first $1 trillion of debt. Took us approximately 200 years to reach $1 trillion in debt. That was our debt ceiling, known as the national deficit. $1 trillion. Now, strangely enough, because I'm sure the people in charge then knew it was going to be exponentially increased in the rapid near future, the dollar would collapse, everything collapse. We can't have that, so what can we do? Along comes Lindsey Williams and his story. We'll fake the world out, make them use our dollar to purchase any gas or oil from the Middle Eastern countries. The Middle Eastern countries will not accept any other currency than dollars, which means the whole world is going to have dollars in their hands to even buy any type of oil or sell or trade it. So now we're able to carry the dollar, which would have collapsed any time then, another 30, 40 years now. Well, 40 years. Until now it's really going to collapse. So, aside from that, let's just focus on the deficit. $1 trillion in 1970. It took 30 years to the year 2000 to increase it $6 trillion, or 6 times that value. Now remember, almost approximately somewhere around there, 200 years, $1 trillion of debt. Not bad, I guess you could say. 30 years, 6 times that value. Not too good. $6 trillion debt. Bush takes office. Bush Jr. He's in office for 2 terms, 8 years. By the time he leaves, it's $9 trillion. He goes, now remember, 200 years, $1 trillion. The next 30 years, $6 trillion. 8 years, 3 more trillion on top of that to $9 trillion. As you can see, something is increasing rapidly while the window of time is shrinking rapidly. Excuse me. So, right around the same time Obama's about to step in office, that little transition's going on. I don't know if Bush ended up signing it, the bill finally, or it was Obama who immediately did it as soon as he took office. Doesn't matter at all. Does not matter one bit who did it. Trust me. And that upped it to 11.2 or something, 11 point something trillion. And I want to say, as soon as that happens, his first year in office takes place, and then we need to up that. We need 12.3 trillion, or 12 point something. I forget the exact number. Okay, a month later, you know what? That really wasn't a big move, buddy. We need more than that. We need to go to 14.3 trillion. 30 days later. Remember, 200 years, 1 trillion. 30 more years, 6 trillion. 8 years, 9 trillion. 1 year, 11 trillion. And then 30 days later, 12 point something trillion. And then all of a sudden, well, we've gone pretty much another year since then without having to raise the deficit. So, hey, you know, we got down to 30 days. It was looking like it was the end of history, end of the world. But a whole year went by. Remember, we also had bailout fever 2009 kicking in across the world. We also figured out the Federal Reserve didn't lend a few hundred million or billion. They sent, man, damn. They sent trillions upon trillions out to the rest of the world. And of course, some of those people probably bought some of our debt. So they probably were able to finagle through that whole year where they didn't have to increase it somehow because all this money was out there, everyone was using it, whatever. Now we're back in that same boat. We need to take the $14.3 trillion debt deficit, window, ceiling, whatever, and we got to go higher. Now notice, maybe you've heard this, but I haven't yet, so bear with me. I haven't heard the number that they want to raise the debt ceiling to. All that I've heard so far is that we need to raise the debt ceiling. Timothy Geithner, old boy, you know, the Goldman Sachs crew and friends, Inc. All these guys, you know, Congress needs, you know, he's on these, now all of a sudden he's on these shows, NBC, and all of a sudden the Treasury Secretary's on TV. You know, like he's some kind of, you know, talk show guy that they're going to talk to, get his opinion. All that he's saying is to the world and to Congress, you're going to raise the debt ceiling. That's what you're going to do. So all this talk about, we can't raise it, we need to rein it in, it's just gibberish. They're going to raise the debt ceiling. That's what he's saying. So, would I argue that, no, this time they're not? No, I wouldn't argue. They've already done it. That's the only thing they can do. Just like the only thing that they can do is continue printing money. It's the only thing they can do. So, damned if you do, and damned if you don't. Because damned if you do, the debt ceiling gets raised again. The credit, and the funny thing was, I read a story today that said the United States' credit rating may be at risk if they don't raise the debt ceiling. What? Shouldn't that article say United States credit rating at risk if they raise the debt ceiling? Because all you're doing is getting a larger credit card with more interest on it that you have to pay back along with the previous interest of the previous credit cards. And you're now going to have to reach a point where we're borrowing the interest payment. So if you're borrowing the interest payment, first of all, from who? I don't know, because China quit. But if we're borrowing this from somewhere just to pay it doesn't make sense. So that's just a nonsense story, which they're switching the words when it should say, if we raise the debt ceiling, it's going to affect our credit rating. If we do or don't, it probably should affect our credit rating because it shows us that we're in deep trouble. So I want you to chew on that for a little bit and think. They're going to raise the debt ceiling again, or if by chance they don't. No, we've had enough, we got to rein this in, we're not raising the debt ceiling. And then the dollar collapse starts kicking in and all kinds of economic problems really occur. Because they realize we have to do this. For whatever reason. Which is still going to be cataclysmic to us anyways. Which is why I say it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. So, if history is any gauge here of what's going to happen, they're going to raise the debt ceiling. You heard Timothy Geithner say it. He's telling them, here's your orders, you're going to do it. And the same Wall Street banking elite, who put him in office, of course, in his position, tell him what to say, and he said it. So now you know where this is probably going to end. If it doesn't, I will be shocked if they say, no, we're not raising the debt ceiling. I don't see that happening. Sorry. Especially when I just see that we have the largest military budget known to mankind that just took place, while everything else is getting cut, and this teaching and infrastructure projects, all that's getting cut. But we did approve a massive military industrial complex spending bill, $700 billion. We got to have that. We wouldn't be the Roman Empire if we didn't have that, now would we? Jeez. So, you better get your silver, you better get prepared, because I think it's safe to say, all the stuff I've been looking at the old wristwatch, man, where's all this doom and gloom I've been talking about? It should be here any minute. I've been getting people prepared, and they're looking at me like, what's taking so long? And they're right, because what is taking so long? But it's here, it's been here, it's just been slow moving. And I think things are going to pick up very rapidly now. extremely rapidly if they don't raise the debt ceiling. But regardless, is even if they do raise the debt ceiling, it's still hitting that pace of just picking up speed left and right, all kinds of problems and things that we're having to deal with. And then we're going to have the oil price, which of course is going to make the price of oil go to a level in which the Federal Reserve cannot intervene, as Ben Bernanke said, and I did a video. Here he's telling you his buzzwords, as Lindsey Williams says, his buzzwords. We can control the, economy, so to speak, unless oil hits, I forgot if he said 125 a barrel or 150 a barrel. We can sustain that. But you and I already know where oil is going. It's going beyond 150. It's going to 200, per Lindsey Williams, and he's always right. Therefore, the Federal Reserve Chairman, Ben Bernanke, had just told you we will be able to sustain it until it hits 150, or whatever the number he said was. I think it was 150 or 125. But he didn't say what happens after that. He just said we will be able to handle it up until that point. So, long story short, the debt ceiling's out of control. The country's bankrupt. People still have 401ks, things to invest in the markets. Well, the market did rise. The market hasn't gone anywhere. In 2009, I bought some silver for when it was $10 an ounce. Screamed at everybody I know. I was running out of my office to my buddy in the sales floor, Frank. Frank, are you watching silver? No, what? They crashed it down. It was just $9.50 a minute ago. It's back up to $10. Dude, we got to put an order in. How many do you want? Holy crap, are you kidding me? No. Hold on a second. All right. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah. Give me X amount. Okay, I'll take X amount. We'll double the order. Half for you, half for me. Yep. Okay, boom. Lock me in right now. Place the order. I paid $2.25 over spot price for Silver Eagles, which was $10. I paid $12.25 in 2009. Was it 08 or 09? I think it was 09. Early 09, I believe. When Lehman was around the time Lehman collapsed. Man, I don't know if it was 08 or 09. Bear with me on that. But told everybody right now, you'll never, ever, ever, ever in your life see it go down this low again. Just don't think silver is a thing for me. What's the price today? For a Silver Eagle, what's the price today? Spot price $43 times $4 to $5 over spot. We are pushing $50 on eBay. It's over $50 all day long. So, get silver. I don't care that it's $43. If you don't have any, you better get some. And then you can at least say, well, I have some more money, but I'm kind of nervous. Just in case when the stock market crashes, it'll push the paper price of gold and silver down, which, of course, the real price will go down with it because it's tied to that. And maybe they'll come to the shortage conclusion very rapidly. But by God, you might have a chance to get it cheap again. $10? No. 20, 25, 30? Maybe. I don't know. But if you don't have any silver, you better buy it even at $40, $43 right now. And if you got extra money and you want to chance it, put it all in now. And that's still a good move because we know where it's going in the future. It'll be hundreds of dollars. If you don't want to chance it and you want to chance it going down in price, fine. Buy some now. Wait. If it doesn't crash near the stock market crash and you see it actually going up while the stock market's crashing, you better urgently get in at that point, because that's a sign that no one really owns paper contracts except for probably the big banks who aren't really counting. Therefore, they're not getting margin calls that they're paying, which would make them liquidate their silver contracts to pull money in so they can pay for their margin calls for other stocks they're invested in, which would push the price of silver down, which means you could go buy the real thing cheaper. If that doesn't occur when the stock market's crashing and silver stays where it's at or is barely affected at all, goes down $1 or $2 or something, right? Nonsense, or starts going up while the market's crashing, don't wait for a crash at that point. You better make the call immediately. Lock me in. I want X amount of ounces of silver, whatever. So that's all I got for this video. Keep that in mind. Deficit, oh my God, unbelievable. It is not sustainable. It will collapse. You will be alive when this collapse happens. Your kids will be alive. So will mine. All you can do is brace for the impact, and that is buying silver as well as food. I struggle with telling people which is more important, silver or food. Because if you have the silver, when the price goes where it's going, you'll be able to buy plenty of food, no problem. At the same time, what if there's a big mega catastrophe and you need 30, 60 days worth of food, 90 days worth of food because it's in your area and people are starving to death? Well, that silver is not going to do you any good, although it would in the local area if someone else has food, because they're not going to probably want dollars for their food. They may want something else like silver or whatever, but, I don't know. So, top priority is both silver and food for me. So, anyways, all I got for you, I gotta now do the video for the Wall Street bailout that got private women loans. Unbelievable. You're gonna love this.